I'm here to talk to you today about the National Infrastructure Advisory Council's Vulnerability Disclosure Working Group, which is a real mouthful. I'm really excited about working with a group whose acronym has VD in it. This is a group that has been working actively this spring. Paul Vixie is one of the working group members. I was really hoping Paul would be here today, and he had a family emergency he had to attend to. But he is available in cyberspace, so if you have tough questions, send them to Paul. Send me the easy ones. I'm sure he will answer. The National Infrastructure Advisory Council is a presidential advisory council. There's all kinds of laws and regulations that govern how it's set up and how it's run. The important thing is it doesn't have any federal officers on it. There are federal officers who participate, but the actual council is made up of CEOs or the equivalent from private industry, state and local government, other large organizations. And I'm going to talk about some of those regulations a little bit too. I'm working on a specific working group that's a subcommittee of the advisory council. One of the things to note about this group is while the advisory councils are a matter of public record and have to have deliberations that are public and open, the subcommittees do not. And in addition, the subcommittees cannot make statements about content that the larger advisory council has not approved. And there's other rules. But the main thing is, do not ask me to tell you what the final output of this advisory council will be, of the working group will be. However, I can tell you some of the background stuff and what we're working on, and most importantly, I need to get your input on this project. I just got ahead of myself on the slides. We're going to be part of a BOF session later tonight during the ISP Security BOF, Barry Green's hosting. I forget the details, but they're on the agenda. The mission and scope, what the working group is about, I'm sure everyone in here is well acquainted with the bad handling of a vulnerability. It is painful. I've been doing this a long time. For all the expertise and experience that I have at it, I still make mistakes at it. But I will dare say that I make far fewer mistakes than most people. The biggest problem I see at this is the lack of knowledge and sharing of information about vulnerability handling. And as a result, there are people all the time jumping into the fray with a lack of experience and, most importantly, a lack of questions and things to think about. And at some point, they screw it up royally. I'm full of war stories. My credit card will be in the bar later. We can help entertain each other with war stories. The goal of this group is to pull together guidelines that will be applicable globally. The group recognizes that the Internet is a global space. However, it is a U.S. federal group that is charged with coming up with the framework. So the focus will be obviously national. In particular, the working group also has to write specific recommendations for the President to have the federal government to implement. So it's basically two documents, one inside the other. Our current goal with framework is to work on a larger document that describes the complexities, and then we will extract an appendix that will say, out of all these different complexities in each category, this group should do this particular item. I think everybody in here knows that vulnerability reports continue to increase. Each year it gets a little more ridiculous. So don't worry about that one. The other 3 points here are important. The working group members have a wide variety of backgrounds and experience that they bring to the group. A fundamental issue in front of the group is you have some organizations whose job it is to tell everyone about a security vulnerability simultaneously, to show no favoritism, and try to get the word out. There's certainly groups who would like to keep them secret forever. And counter that, you have groups whose business mission it is to notify a select audience, namely their customer base, about a security vulnerability. There are other groups, for example, like the CERT Coordinating Center, that provide a coordinating function sort of off to the side. It's a complex place, and some of those conflicts can't be resolved, so we're trying to work through that. The NIAC also has a great deal of intersection with this group, charged by executive order to provide recommendations which will improve sharing between ISACs. Those are information sharing and analysis centers, and the Department of Homeland Security and other agencies. A list of some of the participants. I think that organizational list is complete. I can tell you individual names of participants later. Any of those that you don't recognize, I think they're all explained elsewhere. The problem definition, those two are obvious, but let me speak about full disclosure. I believe in full disclosure. I believe all of my coworkers believe in full disclosure. I know there's a few people who don't believe in any disclosure at all. The biggest problem I find with the full disclosure argument is that most people disagree on the schedule. And this group is going to be trying to address some of the schedule items and work that out. I've been in circumstances where the earliest you could get something out because of tariff regulations and the rest could be as much as 180 days. That certainly goes at odds with folks that want to publish in a week. We've got a lot of different materials. I personally discovered we still need some more information, which is why we're here. And I'm going to skip those. There's several different groups that are working on this. I know you've heard about the INCH efforts. There's a sort of a vendor corner inside FIRST that's working on some disclosure issues, and also the Organization for Internet Safety. This is a group, I know Jeff knows about this group, that has worked to, I think they proposed an IETF draft at one point, also working on this. What we've noticed is that none of these efforts directly overlap with this group. And the timeline, one of the, I guess it is an interesting struggle. We intentionally set an aggressive schedule for this working group because we were worried about losing momentum and worried about losing people over the summer. We expect to publish by the end of June. Now it's beginning to look like middle of July. But the point is that this thing will happen very soon. We are entering a review period where we would like input. We don't have much documentation to share at this point, but one of the things I wanted to invite you to do is to come to the BOF tonight and provide some input. Provide questions, I'll answer as best I can, and come back to you. The important thing about this effort is to understand that a lot of people are going to look at this and not know about your concerns. This is a select group in here. And if you care about this, and I believe every one of you do, if you care about this, please let us know what you think. There'll also be an opportunity to comment later if you missed the opportunity to provide input during the internal review. And these are the principal authors. Adam Rack at Symantec and I are working on this document, and our management. If you want to send us email, please use that alias at the bottom, NIAC-VDWG@external.cisco.com. That goes to this group and a couple of admins. If you have something that you want to share with the larger mailing list, please let us know and we will forward that on. We would like to not publish that list. And that's it. Do you have any questions? Thanks.